One of the things you want to think about as transportation professionals is that people are now expecting to live longer. The new political, policy, and technological demand is to live longer, better. And we all know as transportation professionals, before you do anything, you've got to get there first. And I think you're about to see transportation rise to the agenda at a higher level than we've ever seen before, in part because of an aging population. 2047 is the year I want you to think about. 2047 is the year that worldwide we will have more people over the age of 60 than we will have children between 0 and 15. Think about how this might change demand, lifespans, activities, and the like. What we're looking at here is a fundamental mobility gap that is about to hit the United States in the next 5 to 15 years in a way we've never seen before. Transportation and aging has always been defined around disability, health, and access to care. What we're about to see now is we're not going to have access to the things that keep us happy, that make us smile, and being able to support where we live. That turns from a policy problem into a political issue very quickly. All the models we have built for decades in transportation have been predicated on a very nice, dependable life stage model. We need to throw that out for a variety of reasons. People in old age are not doing what they were supposed to be doing as their parents did. They're getting married, they're starting companies and the like well after 50 and 60 years old. And this generation may be taking time doing other things. So are we going to be lulled into believing that travel behavior has permanently changed with reductions in VMT and the like because of lifestyle changes rather than a permanent change? Will city living, as we're all celebrating the densification of our cities and the like, really continue, or when fertility kicks up, if it does, and that's a big if, when it does, will they want to move out into the suburbs with larger yards, larger houses and the lot? And then of course, younger workers living at home in suburbs, while we are building up the city for jobs, that's fantastic, it's great for the economy, it's also going to put greater strain on journey to work transportation systems. Will this whole national peer-to-peer sharing economy, whatever you want to call it, kind of nationalize the transportation system in a way we've never thought about it? You know, the states have made gazillions of millions of dollars in terms of being able to regulate the car and the driver, so to speak, and how it's inspected. Well, now that we're looking at large utilities emerging, is this going to become more a national regulatory issue? Will the health and the profitability of the auto industry, I believe, I'm going to put this out there, be in jeopardy? How much money do you want to put on your second largest purchase in your lifetime after your house on a car that basically comes on demand, sounds cool, but it's no longer about you? Because remember, you put all that money into that car largely not because it was transportation. A car was always about what does it say about me rather than what it does for me. So now if it's a utility, are you going to be as excited about that car company as you are your electric provider? And then will there be less public buy-in for funding of transportation infrastructure as mobility becomes far less personal and far more public? Ask yourself about how transit has had to fight for years to be a public good compared to when it's all about me and my car, we're able to put a lot of money into that. We're going to have some fundamental value changes over time. Livable community initiatives, I would argue, have been profoundly symbolic. City mayors around the country are all signing on, they want to make their city livable. Call me when you put in a new bus line, a new transit line, new sidewalks and the like, we'll talk. Will smaller cities and towns be prepared for that infrastructure change and affordability that boomers and millennials are seeking? How are aging populations being considered in MPO planning, state transportation improvement plans and the like? I did a number of surveys a few years ago. Bottom line is almost all the MPOs said that we need to change the transportation infrastructure for this change in population. About 90% of them, only 30% of them said that the population that's aging today will be able to travel any differently than the population before. There's the 50-foot problem. I call it 50 feet. Many people can be only 25 feet. But before you get into your robotic car that George Jetson is going to take you anywhere you want to be, how do you get in the car? How do you go grocery shopping? How do you get out of the car? How do you get the 5-pound bag of potatoes and your Tide detergent back into the house? All those little things, the glue of transportation is about the connections, not necessarily the vehicle. Here's your test to know whether you've done your job in transportation for an aging society. Can you get an ice cream cone when you want it? Not can I go to the doctor, not can I go to the grocery store, because by the way, at least a couple years ago, HHS had a larger transit budget than FTA when it came to providing transportation for those needs. You will get those trips. But quality of life is based upon not what you need, but that moment on a hot July night when you hear the peepers outside and you say, I want a soft serve ice cream, can I go get it? And you don't want to bother your oldest adult daughter, and you're not sure your neighbor wants to go. Do you have seamless transportation? That's the bar we need to set about quality of life, not just longer life with mobility triage.